Greetings, friends. It's a high honor once again to welcome you back to Rick's Garage. I apologize for the echo in here today. It's very cold out and I've got the doors closed. What I have for you today is a tire repair. The tire bead has been leaking around this rim. So today we're going to try to clean up this rim and seal the tire bead. Now, before we go any further, I want to strongly urge you to put on your safety glasses. Now, as you can see, I've already dismounted the tire. If you are interested in seeing a tire being dismounted, I do have a video on that subject. I'll post it at the end of this video. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm going to be using a fiber wheel on my air angle grinder. And we're going to try to clean this up. We want to keep this thing moving while we're doing this. Seems to be doing a nice job. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and shift the rim so I can get at the areas that were protected by the clamps. So I'm going to release it and I'm going to move it like so. Reclamp it. Now when I do the other side, the rims will be on the inside, so I won't have to do this. Alright, so that's pretty nice. That ought to seal pretty good. Alright, let's turn it over and do the other side. So this will be a lot easier for us now because we've got the clamps on the inside of the rim. Alright, so that looks pretty good. Okay, now we're going to prepare the tire. What I'm going to use is liquid tire buffer and cleaner. We're going to use that to clean the bead of the tire. So I'm going to liberally put it on a rag. And we're going to go around and clean this rim with this stuff. I'll get anything out of there that might cause the tire to leak. Okay, now we're going to turn it over and do the same thing. Put on the tire, clean that tire, surface, that's what I see. Come out really nice. Okay, so this tire is almost ready to be reinstalled or remounted. Now, one thing I want to talk to you about is what we're going to add to help seal this rim and tire. Now, when I was a young mechanic in the 1970s, we used to use ordinary grease. We didn't know any better. And what I found out over time, the tire is a petroleum-based product, the grease is a petroleum-based product, and over time, the grease would eat into the bead of the tire. Now this is all well and good as long as you never dismounted the tire. But if you were to leave that grease in there, and for some reason you had to dismount the tire, the bead was all going to come apart and the tire was junk. It could never be mounted again. So we learned not to use that stuff anymore. Now the other thing that I've seen recommended is Permatex. This Permatex anti-seize. I've seen people using that on YouTube. And I think it's probably not a bad idea. The anti-seize will prevent the rim from corroding any further. And I think it would act like a nice sealant, just like the grease used to when we did that in the 1970s. But I'm not sure how this would react with the tire, whether it would eventually eat into the bead and cause a problem. Now in this case, this is an older tire. It's probably never going to be mounted again. So you probably could get away with using this stuff, and I think it would probably work quite well. But that's not what we're going to use. We're going to use Tire Bead Sealer. It's made by Steelman. It's made exactly for this purpose. It's not going to eat into the tire in any way, shape, or form. So that's what we're going to go with. Now it's recommended that you put this only on the tire. It says you can put it on the rim, but only as a last resort. If the original application doesn't seal, then you can put it on the rim. So we're actually going to do both. We're going to put it on the rim, a light coating, and then we're going to mount the tire, and then we're going to push the tire down and we're going to put a light coating on the tire itself. The reason for that, I don't want to put it on the tire and then in the process of mounting the tire, it might actually scrape some of it off or wipe some of it off. So we're going to wait till the tire is actually mounted before we apply it to the tire. But before we mount, I'm going to put a little bit on the rim area as well. Now there's one place online I've seen, they say you should let this stuff dry before you mount the tire. That's not the case. You should not do that. If you allow it to harden, then it's going to cause, little gaps and high spots and low spots that might prevent the tire from sealing. So you're supposed to put it on and then immediately mount the tire. Or in this case, we're going to mount the tire and then put it on. All right, so we don't want to slather this on too thickly. All that is required is a thin coat. So we're going to start out with, and we're going to spin the wheel. All right, so we've concentrated it right in where the tire is going to seal. Nice, thin, even coat. Okay, I'm going to put this stuff on the other side and then remount the tire off camera. I'll come back when that's done. Now that I've got the tire mounted, I've got it upside down. We're going to put a little coating on the tire bead itself. Get a little on stuff. Now I'm going to go around one more time without putting any, just to make sure it's smoothed out. We don't have it too thick in places. I want to make sure everywhere is covered. All right, it feels like it's everywhere. So I'm going to flip the tire around. I'm going to repeat the procedure on the front side, and then we'll air it up. Okay friends, as you can see, I've gone ahead and aired up the tire. I've sprayed soapy water on both sides and I can't see anything leaking at all. So I'm going to call this job a success. Now, one thing you may notice here, and I've alluded to earlier in the video, this is not a roadworthy tire. The only reason I'm wasting my time on it is I had this junk rim and tire laying around, and I'm just using them for demonstration purposes only. So I don't want you to think I'm going out there and putting faulty tires on cars. So anyway, that's all I have today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I want to thank you once again for watching. Before I go, I'm going to post two videos to your left. One will be the video I did some time ago on how to mount and balance a tire. And the other one will be one I hope you find of interest. Feel free to click on one or the other. And to your right will be a picture of my trusty avatar in the form of my German Shepherd. Feel free to click on that if you wish to subscribe. So thanks again for watching.